do you want to know how to do these 3 sick effects? I'll be honest guys, it's so much easier than it looks. Trust me with this one. We're going to be walking through 3 different effects. One being how to create a fisheye lens effect in post. Number 2 being a cool mask reveal transition. And number 3 being an insane match cut. Guys, I'm dropping you so much sauce in this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight into the tutorial right now. Let's go. Okay, so the fisheye tutorial. So this necessarily isn't a fisheye, it's just a normal lens, and he's put a kind of a vignette over the top of it, as you can see with just these corner bits here. But the main thing is, I'm going to show you guys something slightly different, and I'm going to show you how to do this as well. So on my own clip, first thing I'm going to do is press Ctrl-Alt-Y to add an adjustment layer. From there, I'm going to add in CC Vignette, just like that. Okay, I'm going to be showing you how to do this with no plugins, by the way. So there we go. To be fair guys, just looking at that, I'm happy with that vignette. It's not too strong, but it's not too weak either. On to the next bit, which is how to make that fisheye kind of look. So what you need to do now, on the same adjustment layer, is add in CC Lens, just like that. This is a bit too much, I know, but now what we need to do is keep all this center, etc. the same. Now go onto the sides and just increase it, okay? Just like this. Until you basically drag it to 500 until it's back to normal. Then just simply drag it down and keep dragging it down until you get a nice little fisheye look. I've altered the vignette again, but that is how to make a fisheye lens look. Trust me, it's a really good replacement if you can't afford a fisheye lens at the moment, but I also would recommend getting fisheye instead of just doing this 24/7 because it looks so much better. But this is a good workaround, short term, by the time you haven't got one. Okay, onto the mask reveal. So here's an example from the music video. He's used like a little, I don't know, is that a vest or something? That's coming past and swiping to the next video. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this, but what I'm working with is 2 clips. I'm scraping clips together here. So from your own music video, you're going to be in a better position than me right now because I've just literally grabbed 2 clips from the same music video which I've tried to work together. No excuses, let's get started with it now. The first thing I'm going to do on the clip we're transitioning into is drag it to the left slightly, just like this, and then bring it underneath our first clip here. Now the idea I'm going with is I want the quad bite to basically fly to the right and then transition into this clip here. But you can see it slows down before the clip even starts. So I'm going to show you the trick, yeah? As you can see, it's gone down, then using the position keyframes, he's spun it to the right, just into the new clip here. So we're going to do a similar thing, but I'm going to be using camera movement now instead. First thing I'm going to do is duplicate the top clip with Ctrl-D. So all of this area here, I'm going to rotoscope out. Everyone but the quad bike on the left side, just like this. Because we're going to be transitioning into this side. All this gap here on the left is going to be empty, which is what we want. So the rotoscope to me is looking perfectly fine. I'm not aiming for perfection, but that's exactly what I need, just the left side. What I'm going to do now is go over to the invert and just tick it. Then I'm going to freeze it. It's important you make sure you invert it because then the effect isn't going to work. So as you can see, we've got the clip from underneath showing on the left side, and we're going to be transitioning from the left side to the right, so that's exactly what we need. Then I'm just going to zoom in and just feather it slightly. The motion blur is going to mask all of this anyway, but just to clean it up slightly, that's what we need to do. Now what I'm going to do is enable 3D on all of the layers except the bottom one. So we're going to leave this one as a 2D layer, and I'll show you why in a second. Now you're going to right click, go onto new, and then go on to camera. Keep it on whatever focal length it's default, just leave it at that. Now once you pressed OK, go onto the drop down menu, transform, and keyframe point of interest and position as we always do on this channel. Now let me walk you through what I'm going to do before I do it. So you can see the quad bike is actually quite far away, and even when it gets here it's not even going past. So I'm going to zoom in to this little gap here, so the quad bike essentially covers from the top of the composition to the bottom of the composition. Now already, that looks pretty cool, just as an effect on itself. I've accidentally discovered something here which I might use in my own videos now. But here's the next thing. So essentially you're going to go forward now to the end of the clip, use this one here, which is the pan tool, right next to the dolly tool, and simply hold shift, make sure you're holding shift to make sure it's straight, and then click and drag to the left until your bicut is out of frame, just like this. Now you'll see, when I disable the bottom layer, you can see we now have the transition happening. So I'm going to delete the bottom clip before and just leave the rotoscope layer. Essentially, we're using the zoom to stop anybody from seeing that happening, if that makes sense. Now when we zoom in, you can see we don't even know it's happening, and there you go. So essentially all I've done now is I've highlighted all of these using the drag and left click and holding it, going into the graph editor, make sure it's on edit speed graph instead of edit value graph, and you can just copy what I've done with the graph here. I've essentially just selected the left side and then just brought it to give it a nice smoother kind of zoom in. Now for me, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'd rather it be a lot better than this, but it's the best I can get with these clips right now. If you've got a less complicated mask, you can always just use the pen tool, but I had to use the roto brush because one, the subject's moving and it's pretty complicated and I don't want to hand mask it because that's just long. But essentially, if I play it now, that is the transition done. That's how to do it. Let me show you guys how you can recreate the same effect. Let's go. You need to have the selection of photos. If you go back into that one, you can see he's got multiple different photos of the same chain. Even some screen grabs from the actual footage itself, you can also use that instead, and then just freeze frame them into actual pictures. That works as well. But have a varied selection. In my case, I've got like, what, 5 here? That'd be more than enough. So in my case, I'm just gonna go and then press Control and the right arrow twice to make a 2-frame cut, okay? Then delete the rest. Line every single one of them up like this, and then you need to create yourself a marker. So if I'm gonna use this first picture as my reference clip, there's one thing I need to do first. Deselect all your clips, go up until you find your pen tool or your whatever your shape tools are. I'm gonna use an ellipse because I'm going to match the eyes, okay? So I'm gonna go forward up into the eyes here and simply make a shape. I'm gonna make sure it's not fill, and I'm gonna set this fill to none, and then set the stroke to a solid color like yellow, okay? Then I'm simply gonna alter this circle until it matches the eye perfectly. I don't need to do any more than that because I'm just showing you quickly, but just make a reference, and then from there you can hide your first clip and then match the second one, match each of the eyes together. You don't have to be perfectly accurate, you can utilize rotations, whatever you may need, but I'm showing you guys how to do this really quickly, innit? You don't need to do it as rushed as me. Take your time and then just match them up perfectly. I'll get back to you once I've done all of them. Alright, so I've matched all of the 5 photos to these reference shapes I've made. So now I'm going to deselect and hide the 2 shapes, just like that. That's fine with me. Move them back into their old positions, 2 frames apart and 2 frames long. Simple as that. Now watch what happens when we play it. You can see we already have that match effect going. You can see, if I just go through it quickly, we have that match effect going. All you can do now is select all of them, press Ctrl D, and then drag all the way down till you have another layer of them, and then there you go. You now have your match cut done. It's as simple as that, guys. So I'm gonna add a few different things to make it look even better. First thing I'm gonna do is add in a flicker effect. Now I've shown you guys on a previous video how to do it for completely free, but I'm gonna be using the Sapphire flicker just because it's so good and effortless. I'm gonna add in a CC vignette over the top of it and bring it in just like this. You can also add in textures if you want. It's not necessary though. I'm going to go into CCTV from the Trap Essentials pack, which is the top link in the description if you want to check it out. Gives it a nice grungy effect and like a little camera effect. And as you can see, that is how you do a match cut. It's as simple as that. You can get really creative and add different styles to whatever you feel works for you. Just get creative with it, you'll be alright. That's the main thing. Oh, I've also started up this new music video platform called the Canvas. I've dropped the first video on there already. Some of the clips have been used in today's tutorial. So here is the YouTube account. Make sure you go check out the first video and the BTS if you want to see how I actually get up to recording in person. And yeah, it's been a while, guys, I know, but we've come to the end of another insane tutorial. Hope you lot have enjoyed it. More importantly, I hope you learned something. I'm going to be dropping a lot more, and there's a lot more packs coming as well, so keep an eye out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love.